See, y'all sit here too comfortably, thinking that everything, black people stupid, that we don't understand what's going on, that we going to vote blue no matter who, and all y'all got to do is use the race card. All y'all got to do is call white supremacy, the white man. But we're in a heavily Democratic city from top to...
Wait, you need to see this. Chicago is officially hitting a breaking point, and the people are actually done playing games. Look at the energy in this room. This isn't a protest. It's a full-on local uprising against the city's leadership.
The white man. But we're in a heavily Democratic city from top to bottom. State and city, all Democrats. So can we say that the Democrats are racist white men or white women? Who is it? Because this is what y'all telling us. So I'm letting you all know, Chicago flips red. We are not paying these taxes. We are calling for a boycott on these taxes. Nobody is playing this game no more. We won't pay our taxes until we get a forensic audit on where all our money is going. We're demanding that. We're asking President Trump to send the feds here.
30 seconds.
The DOJ here. We need a forensic audit on where our money is going. And we are not paying no property taxes. And we are calling for a boycott. And we're going around to every ward in the city and calling for it. You all going to learn to stop playing with us. And you all going to learn that you all work for us.
Did you hear that? We are not paying these taxes. That is a massive statement coming from a community that has historically been the backbone of the city's voting bloc. When you see citizens demanding a forensic audit and literally calling for the federal government to intervene in their own city's finances, you know the trust is completely gone. She's pointing out something really deep here. The race card is losing its power because the people living in these neighborhoods are looking at their property tax bills and then looking at the $41 billion in liabilities. It's no longer about identity politics. It's about survival and math. You can see the frustration in the way she mentions the blue no matter who era ending. This feels like a tectonic shift in Chicago's political landscape. If people actually follow through with a tax boycott, the entire system would freeze up in weeks. It's wild to watch this play out in real time.
Our responsibilities when it comes to federal agents, and I've been asked these questions, we do not interfere with the duties and responsibilities of federal agents. We don't have to agree with it. It doesn't matter. You don't have to agree with it. We do not interfere with their orders. And when they go out to carry out their orders, they will do that the way that they're trained to do it and their understanding of what it is they have to do. CPD will not arrest and cannot arrest federal agents because someone deems what they're doing is illegal or unlawful. Their rules of engagement are different from CPD and other local law enforcement agents. If for any reason a crime is being committed, an ICE agent, state, local, police officers, if it involves law enforcement, we are going to show up.
This right here is the moment the wheels fell off for the mayor. That's Superintendent Snelling basically telling City Hall, thanks, but no thanks. Think about how rare it is for a police chief to publicly say they will not comply with an executive order from their own boss. He's essentially drawing a line in the sand between local politics and federal law. He mentioned rules of engagement, and that's the scary part. He's trying to prevent a scenario where local cops are forced into a standoff with federal agents. Imagine being a beat officer and having to decide between an order from your mayor and a federal mandate. Snelling is basically shielding his officers from a legal and tactical nightmare. It's a complete breakdown of the chain of command, and honestly, it's a nuke to the mayor's authority. You can tell by his tone that he isn't just disagreeing. He's protecting his department from what he sees as a political stunt that could get people hurt.
If you plan on enforcing the mask ban on federal agents, if that's where you're going.
Yeah, that when you take a step back from that, that's the issue of the day.
The reality of one armed agency approaching another armed agency to create conflict over something that would be a misdemeanor at best or an infraction, it doesn't make any sense. It's not a good public policy decision, and it wasn't well thought out in my opinion.
Even out in LA, the top brass are calling this out as not well thought out. Look at the logic here. The chief is pointing out the absolute insanity of having one armed agency approach another armed agency over what would be a misdemeanor at best. He's talking about the physical risk of a shootout between local police and ICE agents because of a municipal ban. It's terrifying when you actually break it down like that. These politicians are writing orders from behind desks, but these chiefs are thinking about what happens on a dark street corner at 2 a.m. when two groups of people with badges and guns have conflicting orders. It's a recipe for a disaster that nobody wants to be responsible for. It shows that this isn't just a Chicago problem. It's a fundamental clash between woke policy and the reality of law enforcement safety.
Over the weekend, the mayor said his executive order had the full support of O'Neill Burke, but she posted on social media that was not true. The mayor's team said they had received feedback from Burke's office. Her team says that's also not true. In a statement, the state's attorney's office noted the fracturing relationship between law enforcement and the public in the wake of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. The office said in part, during this fraught atmosphere, the mayor of Chicago issued an executive order and falsely claimed that the Cook County State's Attorney's Office reviewed and supported his order. The office was not provided with a copy of the executive order until it was released to the public Saturday.
Now, this is where the drama gets spicy. The mayor claimed he had the state's attorney's support, but she came out and basically called him a liar on social media. She didn't even see the order until it was on the news. This is total amateur hour at City Hall. If you're going to issue a radical executive order, you'd think you'd at least check with the person who has to actually prosecute the cases. This fracturing relationship the news is talking about is an understatement. It's a total divorce. It's one thing to have the police union against you, but when the state's attorney says you're falsely claiming her support, your legal credibility just evaporated. It makes the whole ICE on notice thing look like a hollow press release instead of actual law.
So Chicago's interesting because, again, because accounting rules are different. When you compare New York City to Chicago, New York City, by state law, because in the 70s they were so close to bankruptcy, the state law says New York City has to put in the actuarially determined contribution for their pensions. However, Chicago, when you look at their financial reports, they do not include the a lot of different, they don't include the school district. New York includes everything. So if Chicago were including the same thing as New York, Chicago would actually be in a much worse shape if the school districts were included.
And certainly we cover CPS as a separate
Okay, let's talk about the money, because this is the hidden monster under the bed. Did you catch the part where Chicago's accounting is actually worse than New York's? They're essentially hiding billions in debt by keeping the school district's pension liabilities separate from the main budget. It's a shell game. When the expert says they aren't even treading water despite spending billions, that's a code red for a city's future. This is why you're seeing janitors get fired while administrators keep their high pensions. It's a classic case of the people at the bottom paying for the mismanagement at the top. The financial collapse of a major American city usually starts exactly like this, with hidden ledgers and skyrocketing taxes on the people who can least afford it. Is Chicago going to be the first major city to actually flip red over taxes? Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit follow for the next breakdown.